The third law is the law of synthesis. This law is symbolized by a triangle. According to the law of synthesis, the two aspects of energy established in the second law interact as a process consisting of three parts. It is the process by which the two interact to produce a third, thereby forming a triad. Positive and negative interact to produce a third, neutral aspect that stabilizes them, comparable to a man and woman producing a child. The three parts of the law of synthesis can be defined as formative, active, and stabilizing. Form, motion, and balance. A process in itself can also be said to consist of a beginning, a middle, and an end in that sequence. The law of synthesis governs the mechanism of the personality. The personality consists of three parts: vital, emotional, and mental. Thought is a process consisting of three parts: memory, conceptualization, and the association of concepts. Through the natural development of the personality, the thought process is vested with more and more energy. Thought becomes chronic, compulsive, and seemingly involuntary. Chronic thought generates our concept of self, the self-reference, and our identification with it. Identification is our sense of being separate. It is a contraction of our subtle internal energy. Identification is the opposite of consciousness. In a state of identification, we lose our sense of being present, our bodily awareness. The personality remains caught in identification and relatively unconscious. Identification is the root of the human dilemma. Our dilemma is a process consisting of three parts: fear, desire, and antagonism. Identification is the hallmark of chronic thought. Identification generates emotional reactions. We experience fear within our sense of being separate. Our fears give rise to desires. We desire to avoid separation and death. The very movement of desire, however, reinforces our identification, our sense of being separate, thereby maintaining our mortal condition and inevitably resulting in antagonism and sorrow. Sorrow eventually turns back into fear and perpetuates the process of our dilemma. The perpetuation of this threefold process is governed by the next law, consequence.